My name is Grahn Danielson. You could call me Ben. That's all right. I'm here to talk about digging together archaeology as a method in municipal planning. I'm not sure really if I will manage to do that, but hopefully I can give you some ideas of how you could work more in the future. I have got already a lot of ideas how I want to work in the future, and I've got a lot of ideas today from you that have had your presentations. Okay, I have a background in commercial archaeology, in excavations, and I've been working on a small local museum. I've been working in the county administration and so on for, now it's 10 years, I think. And I have a feeling that I've always done archaeology for archaeologists or archaeology for persons that aren't interested in archaeology. And I want to stop that, and I want to do archaeology for humans, I told Liam, I want to do archaeology for people that are really interested in archaeology. I grew up north of Gothenburg in Sweden, 50 meters from the ocean, in the municipality of Tanum. Maybe you have heard about the Tanum rock carving site. It's a World Heritage Area with rock carvings from the Bronze Age. So I started with archaeology already when I was 14 years old, but I never thought I would become an archaeologist. And please take 1 minute or two and talk to each other about what does this picture tell you. So, go on. Okay, thank you. You got 1 minute. Does anybody have anything to say about the picture? No, someone? Please.
Are you bringing in hay?
Yes, they are bringing in hay. Good. Good. It was the right answer. They are bringing in hay. I want to promote a feeling about archaeology already in the normal fieldwork which I'm doing. I'm carrying out smaller excavations, smaller surveys, and this picture is actually the cover of a short technical report. A regular report in archaeology in Sweden looks like this. It's an excavator and an archaeologist looking on a trench. That's the regular cover of an archaeological report. So, this field that you see, it's the field where the people were gathering hay in the 16th century or in the 17th century. Quite recently, I excavated a small area with clearing cairns, and this is the cover of the report. So I want to promote a feeling about the past, or maybe the present, and how we could form a better society in the future. And I want to do that with archaeology. And it's easy to say it, it's harder to do it. So, I have two things in common with this man. Do you know who he is? Anyone? No? That's Alexander Fleming. And we are both humans, and we both found something by coincidence. I found contemporary archaeology by coincidence. When I was studying at the university in Gothenburg, we lacked proper training, proper fieldwork. I think I had, during 3 years education, I had 1 week in the field. And, they didn't have so much money then, so we had a very few lectures, and me and my fellow students were really tired. So we started our own projects. And the easiest way to do that was doing contemporary archaeology. So here we are excavating 3 square meters around 2 park benches quite near the university. And there we found out that the city council were doing sociotopical maps over the parks and green areas in Gothenburg. And this area, they with the sociotopical maps, they told us that, oh, this is a place for walks and picnics, and it's a lovely place. People are looking on flowers and doing ball games and so on. And we thought, well, really, no, this park is actually not famous for picnics. It's famous for drug dealing. Could we find another idea of the park with doing a small excavation? And we did that, and we found 300 caps from beer bottles on the 3 square meters. And the beer caps showed us that it was probably a place for the local alcoholics, because it was a lot of lager beer caps with 7% alcohol. I think you know of Kopparberg cider, which I will come back to, the town Kopparberg. And it was also Kopparberg cider, 7% alcohol. So, and we also found a part of a hashish cake. So, and with that result, we tried to discuss with the city council about how they could use the information to actually develop the park for the community. For 4 years ago, I moved away from Gothenburg and the west coast of Sweden up to the central part of Sweden in a rural area called Avesta in the Dalarna county. And I didn't have a job, and I loved it. Finally, I can stop doing archaeology for archaeologists and archaeology for people that don't want to pay for archaeology, that hate archaeology, that think it's a problem. And by coincidence, the manager of cultural affairs in the local council is a trained archaeologist, and we put up a program of sort of archaeology school. So we were excavating a croft together with a local school in a rural part of the community, of the municipality, and we were working there for 1 week, and we excavated the croft of where the ferryman lived, the ferryman that worked with the ferry that were bringing people and cattle over the Dala River during the 19th century. And it was a success. People were coming all over from the parish to watch the excavation. People were starting to be involved in the excavation, and after we have worked there for 1 week, the school children put together an exhibition. And this was in 2016, and the exhibition is shown in different museums around the county, and it's now in the county museum in Falun, the city Falun in Dalarna. And the municipality realized that we could use archaeology as a learning process in the schools, but also we can use archaeology for making a better society, for planning the society for the future. By using archaeological sites, we could plan how we want the structures or the society to be in the future. We could learn from historical knowledge. So the project was a success. Unfortunately, my girlfriend that made me move to Avesta didn't like to live there, so we moved back to Gothenburg. And at the same time, I was contacted by a group of artists. Benjamin, could you come to our mine, our iron mine in Kopparberg, where they made the cedar? We need to do future archaeology. The group of artists had moved to the town of Kopparberg, where they bought an old iron mine. The iron mine was closed in the 1970s, and now the area is a part of the Swedish Rust Belt. And in a political journal in 2013, it was a short article about which municipalities in Sweden will be obsolete, will be dead in 2070. And then the town of Kopparberg was one of them. And the group of artists thought, what do the citizens, what do the community here think about that? Could we explore the community's future, and how should we do that? So they got a lot of money and have been working for 3-4 years with exploring the future together with the local community and together with refugees, because in this municipality a lot of refugees came in between 2012 and 2016. And I was thinking of future archaeology, what is that? But then we thought of maybe we could do some smaller contemporary archaeology excavations, and with backtracing the knowledge and think about how is it today and how could it be tomorrow. And for some reason we walked by the local notice board, the pin board in central Kopparberg, where it was thick layers of notices. And we thought maybe we could excavate the notice board. And the municipality and the artists were starting to discuss about the future in the society, in the municipality, and how they could plan it for the future. So one part of this plan was doing excavations of a notice board in central Kopparberg. And so we did. So one cold day in March 2015, me and the artists and some refugees and some locals started to excavate the notice board. The national television was there filming it, and I was a little bit nervous about what should we do here? What am I doing here? I'm usually excavating, digging in Stone Age settlements. But it was a success. People were starting to discuss what are happening in the city, in the small town, and what could we do in the future. And all this was a part of the planning process that the artists worked with, and it was actually formed out to a theater that was an interactive bus tour with, I think it was, the audience was about 400-500 persons in total. So they were doing an interactive bus tour from the central part of Kopparberg to the mine, and locals and refugees were having a conversation with the audience in the bus and talking about what is homeland for you. And one part of the research for that bus tour was the excavation with the pin boards. When I heard them talking about homeland, I realized they are talking about heritage, but they don't know it. After that, I've been continuing working with contemporary archaeology in Gothenburg, on commission by a local organization of landlords. They in parts of central Gothenburg, it's a lot of construction work going on, and I wanted to connect the new housing areas with the old ones, and so that people were getting what is this for an area, what is the history of the municipality. and we were doing 3 excavations in different parts of the central part of Gothenburg, involving the local community, and people were coming there, digging, finding findings, and with the objects we were telling stories about the society and about the community and its local history. And it was used by the local landlord association for planning the area better. Now I'm going to start working in my own community with the same type of method. This is Gårdsten, a concrete area, housing area built in the end of the 1960s. And it's a really large-scale plan. People were living here in the apartment houses. They were supposed to take their cars to the Volvo factory, and it's the real modern future society. But it lacks heritage. Now it's about 15% of the population are from Sweden. The rest are refugees or immigrants or people that really doesn't want to live in the area, but they are needed to because it's the only place where they got housing. We are now planning to, with archaeology and community archaeology, make a better society and plan it by doing smaller excavation of contemporary archaeology, but also we are planning to excavate a hill fort from the Iron Age and maybe a Bronze Age cairn. And with that, we think that we could plan this area for a better society, having the heritage and archaeology as a glue for coming together, starting to learn each other. And I realized that doing community archaeology could be a part of a city council's planning work. So I think we could make archaeology become a own business that could produce information for planning for a better society in the future, and not being seen as a problem all the time. In this area, we will start working with different methods, and we will start working with the fika method. Have you heard about the Swedish fika? It's an institutionalized coffee break that we have very often. And it will include a hot beverage, normally coffee, and something that you eat together, and you sit down and you talk about something that isn't work, and you talk about how it is. And we will start working with the fika method for planning our society. And yeah. I stop there and I let you ask some questions. There is a small movie on YouTube. If you just search for Picea Kulturarv, that's my small social enterprise, sort of. You will find a small film of an excavation of a notice board in central Gothenburg, which shows one example of what we are working with. So, I stop there.